That's the block grab graphic. Hey guys, welcome to Best of 5. This is a weekly FGC talk show that almost always goes off without a hitch, but it's like getting back on a bike, but the bike is it hasn't been used in a while.
It's completely broken, honestly.
You're watching Best of 5. It's the relaunching of our old FGC talk show. This is officially episode 1. I'm Efren. This is Mike. Joined as always by John and Steve. I have one question for you, gentlemen. Actually, it's just a question for you, Steve. You know what the question is.
Do I?
Steve,
I really?
Did you set the auto archive?
Yes. All right. I am sorry. I thought it was set by default, and I learned that it is not. But it was episode 0, so it doesn't count.
It doesn't count.
That was the beta.
You had to be there. Episode.
You had to be there. That's right, man. You know, whatever happened to, if I wasn't there, I didn't get to experience it. You had to be there. It did actually get survived by a couple of clips here and there, and I guess the rest of it will live in infamy. Anyway, this is an FGC talk show. We do it every week at this hour. We talk about FGC happenings. Promise it's not all Street Fighter V, although mostly Street Fighter V. And we're going to kick it off with a CPT recap, or I guess just a Street Fighter V recap. And I want to ask the audience to bear with us as we get back into the swing of things. We'll start bringing all the bells and whistles back. We are really excited, though, because after our usual panel, usual as if you knew the old show, we have a guest tonight, and that is none other than the Alpha. Don't confuse him with the Omega, Punk the God. And he'll be joining us in roughly about 45 minutes, and he has confirmed that he'll play a set against your boy Donka.
Donka, you have to win that. It's very, very important to me that you win that set.
Punk's gonna get cooked.
Yeah, with that attitude.
All right, guys. Well, why don't we kick it off with some results? Let's catch everybody up to speed. What went down over the weekend? And for that, we're going to kick it to Steve, who is the man with the plan. He knows everything. He watches everything. He writes about everything. So does John, but Steve is a little bit better at this segment.
You should let me do the segment next week.
Fine. Okay.
Who's going to come out on top?
This will probably be the last episode now. But let's start our CPT recap with an event that wasn't part of the CPT. E-League, the first of 4 semifinal rounds took place on Friday night. If you know who's on the show, you probably knew who won, and that was the Alpha Punk. He breezed through the opening rounds, and on Friday night, he took care of business, and he earned a spot in the finals along with Momochi, who was the runner-up. Both of those guys are going to play for the $150,000 first-place prize in late May. Smug got to winners finals, but lost to Punk, lost to Momochi. Heartbreaking for him because he was incredible all weekend. But he took home $1,000 for third. Brolinho got fourth. Infiltration and Julio were fifth and sixth, and they are kind of the stories going forward now because we know both of them are taking extended absences from the Pro Tour. Infiltration, he just announced today that he wasn't going to NCR because he didn't feel ready. And then Julio, his elbow injury isn't fully healed, so it's going to be a while before we see either of those guys on tour.
Now, before we move off, talk a little bit more E-League. You mentioned Infiltration and the fact that he won't be at NCR. You brought this up, Steve. I'm totally going to throw you under the bus and call you out on this. By the way, check out this new Best of 5 sandwich we got going on here on the screen for you. How did that happen? Man, you have a long arm, buddy. Anyway, you brought this up, Steve, so I'm going to call you out. Did he drop off because he got engaged, or did everybody catch up? John, I'm calling Steve out, but John, you're nodding your head pretty hard.
I've been there. I've been in, I played 4 and I traveled a little bit more. And when I had a girlfriend and when I had girlfriend problems, my play, ask anybody that I play with, it was a lot harder to have a focused mind. And I've had conversations with other people. My friend Born Free, you guys know, we're like, Infiltration's, he's got a fiance. His play is going down the toilet.
Is he going home to be a family man? I mean, I can't fault the guy. First of all, there's no conclusive evidence that this is why he may or may not be performing at the level that he is. What about you, dog? You have a girlfriend. Does that affect your play? I heard you just made Diamond or
I'm not
Legend.
married, and I'm not on the E-League either. So, I mean, I would say it's a lot different scenario. I think there's a number of things. I mean, you saw Infiltration in Street Fighter 4 go from, playing Akuma and winning Evo to playing 20 characters and not winning Evo anymore. And you've seen the same thing in Street Fighter 5, and you've seen him switch from a high-tier character in Nash to what is likely a low-tier character in Jury.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a lot of things coming together at once, and I think when your play is going downhill and you're getting married, I mean, yeah, it's a good excuse to take a break. I don't think it's the only reason, though.
Okay.
I mean, Brolinho beat Infiltration back in season 1 at I don't even remember which tournament it was. So it's not like this is completely new territory.
Now, character choice, does that have anything to do with it?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Moving on.
Well, I gotta say, Infiltration. The world is waiting for you to play Colleen. It is the Infiltration character with all like the run and gun, the be goofy all over the place, and no one knows which way you're going. Also, throw some icicles out of the air and hey, add a weird, funky counter in the mix to just keep things crazy. That's Infiltration's character. The sooner he starts playing Colleen, the sooner he'll start winning.
We have a clip just so if you guys want to see how it went down, how it all ended up at E-League. This clip, CJ, who's in our control booth here, is titled E-League Punk. What is it about? Because he's not the only Kareem player. Is he doing something special, or is it that 18-year-old Twitch ability? What's going on, man?
Gameplay-wise, I think what separates Punk from a lot of different other people is that he focuses very hard on whiff punishing, and he focuses very hard on reacting. And you've seen this rhetoric about the game where, you can't react. There's 7 frames of lag. There's 8 frames of lag. I've heard a different number every day. Frames of lag, and you can't react. You can't play footsies. But Punk manages to do it somehow. And you see Punk, whether he's guessing, whether he's reacting, whatever he's doing, consistently take the moves other people do and turn them against him with the Karen Stan Fierce into Tenko, or he reacts to the low forward hit and does it into the Tenko. Everything he does is going into, on average, so much more damage, and every punish is, on average, so much more important than the other Karen players that's why you're seeing him more consistently win.
One of the things I want to ask him about, so when I was trying to book the interview, one of his managers or the CEO of Panda Global says, I don't think he can make it because he's staying at Justin's house. I'm like, have him call in from Justin's house. But what I'm really excited about is he's hanging out with the other Karen player, like the Karen player in Justin. You think he's picking up stuff, or do you think he's teaching him stuff?
I mean, I think what we've seen is that Justin's more of, the raw player, and he's probably learning more tech from Punk than the other way around. But at the same time, Justin's a legend, and his footsies and mind games are on a level of most other people can't match in America. So I'm sure there's back and forth going on. And Justin did actually beat Punk at South by Southwest Invitational. It was a really close set. So, despite Punk's recent better results, they're somewhat equally matched as Karen players. So I'm sure there's a lot of back and forth.
Okay. Gentlemen, is there anything else to talk about E-League other than the fact that, man, it is kind of harsh? They show that one graphic where somebody will get X'd out, like this guy did not advance, and it keeps going through. It's cutthroat. You're out of there. But, that was the nature of it from the beginning, right?
And there's such a huge drop-off. I know John published the prize pool for E-League earlier this week, and there is just such a huge drop-off. Like I said, $150,000 for first place. You just miss top 8, and you only get $1,000. So these are some high-pressure matches. It's not just about skill, but dealing with that pressure, dealing with everything that comes with this tournament, and knowing it comes down to just basically one set. It's a different sort of test than you see on the CPT.
I am digging it, though. All right, so that was the non-CPT Street Fighter V recap. Steve?
The last thing I would like to add about the E-League is that something notable that we haven't mentioned yet, but a lot of people obviously realized, is that Momochi beat Smug by picking Ibuki. Which we hadn't even seen him play. We saw him play Bison and Rashid at South by Southwest to practice those characters, and we've obviously seen him play Ken for a year in this game and then years in Street Fighter 4. But now he's playing Ibuki to counterpick Balrog, and it worked beautifully, beating him 3-0 after that. So, I mean, the counterpicking is obviously there, and it's gotten to that point. And, I mean, he's able to beat the premier Balrog player by switching to a character we've never even seen him play before. So, you know, it's food for thought. And also food for thought is that Momochi, before becoming a Ken player in Street Fighter 4, was known for playing like 10 characters. So, I mean, despite people thinking of him as a Ken loyalist, he has been known to play a lot of characters in the past, and obviously his skill at that has shown through.
He used to have a halfway decent Cody, didn't he?
He was one of the best
really
Codys.
good.
Yeah.
Without getting ahead of ourselves, though, but with what you're saying there, could we maybe be seeing that Street Fighter V is starting to become normalized, and in that, like, we're starting to see it's not just a couple of characters that are the best because no one knows how to deal with it, a couple of strategies that are the best because no one knows how to deal, and pros are now being able to counterpick efficiently, and we're seeing it become more of a, I guess, a settled fighting game. Just food for thought.
There's a lot of food for thought here.
I definitely think it's going in that direction.
All right. Anything else, Donka, you'd
I'll
like to mention
let Steve
about E-League?
do his CPT recap.
All right. We don't have the graphic yet today, but mi compadre, Steve, what events took place over the weekend?
Well, we start in Paris with Ultimate Fighting Arena, and you guys were talking all this garbage about how getting married does terrible things to your gameplay. Haitani won it. He got married earlier this week. He started the weekend by saying "I do," and he ended the weekend by saying "I win."
Nice.
How impressive is that? Haitani took it over Itazan in grand finals. F-Champ got third. He was so close to winners finals. He was so close. Just heartbreaking stuff. But you had Itazan and F-Champ, or excuse me, he was so close to grand finals. Because you had Itazan and F-Champ in winners finals. So, you know, your typical Zangief versus Dalsum match, which we see at every event.
Every time.
You had Tokido in fourth. Verloren, who was turning in some real good performances as of late, and Gamerby tied for fifth, and then Xiaobao from China and Goichi tying for seventh.
That was a really exciting tournament, and the one thing I was telling you guys in chat was the production value of it. Not to take away from the competition of the actual event, but you clicked it on and it looked like a good stream. I really liked it. I don't know if Capcom themselves are sending out overlays or new templates, but it looks sharp. And I'm on board. I like the way it's looking.
I mean, not only that, but as was mentioned, I mean, we had top three was Nikali, Zangief, Dalsum, so you saw totally different characters than you've seen at tournaments as of late. We saw, I mean, we've been hearing about how Dalsum versus Zangief was completely unwinnable, and the best Zangief player managed to beat the best Dalsum player, so that's pretty interesting to see. I remember reading a couple of F-Champ's tweets beforehand, which were that, you know, he had been beating Itazan in casuals pretty badly. So it's pretty interesting to see that, you know, maybe the download was completed in casuals, maybe something along those lines.
How do you feel about that? If you're at a tournament and there's a dude, I mean, I'm sure he didn't know that he was going to end up facing him in that, you know, top three.
I think, you know, talking to Champ and knowing him for a little while now, his thought process is that by playing those matches, he'll become a better player, and that's more important than, you know, maybe getting downloaded for one tournament set.
I see.
And I think he would stand by that. And I mean, I understand that. It's pretty valiant. If I feel like if I could win more easily by not playing those matches, I wouldn't play him. But I mean, that's me. And I'm a scumbag.
Yeah. And I think Champ's so good where even though he didn't get all of the points this weekend, you know, he'll get there at the end. As well as he's been playing both at E-League and at regular tournaments, he'll get there at the end. So his concern is going to be winning Capcom Cup, not so much just making it.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, the whole Dalsum thing became an argument, too. Because you have Marn talking about how he thinks Dalsum is like top 3 in the game, and you have other people saying they think Dalsum's garbage, and you have F-Champ calling out Arturo for saying that he was a better Dalsum than F-Champ. So Dalsum was the yoga breathing fire of the town this week. And I suggest you hit up Twitter if you want to read more about that.
Yeah, I saw some tweet. He was busting Arturo's balls about not being sponsored. It seemed like a, you know.
I've brought this up before, but the secret Dalsum Illuminati is a real thing. And it continues to manifest itself. And if anything happens in the Street Fighter V community, one of them was behind it.
Yeah, I think I remember you telling us Was it that Guilty brought in some Japanese
There was a
Dawson?
mole from Japan that was, trying to spy on F-Champ
This was
for his
before
match at
Capcom
Capcom Cup. I mean, apparently F-Champ has like 3 accounts in the Illuminati. It's I actually accidentally got someone removed from the Illuminati by talking about it too much. So
Dang.
So apparently, I mean, I'm probably gonna get shot after this show, to be honest.
We're gonna need a full security detail around you at all
Just
times.
a dart, just right into his neck.
What do I ever have right now?
It's like one yoga limb comes at me.
Like that
This
shot
is
earlier?
why I played Brain Dead Ken. I don't have to think about it, so I don't have to get involved in any of that stuff.
I could tell you about the Ken Illuminati, a different show, but that's
No,
that's a totally separate story.
Don't you put that evil on me. Don't you put that evil on me.
So that was the Ultimate Fighting Arena. Again, that was a pretty sick event. It was fun to watch. The matches were exciting. I love seeing a good grappler, and it's hard to ask for anything better than Itazan. But that wasn't the only CPT event. We also had a West Coast Warzone. Before we even launch into it, no, I'll wait. Go ahead, Steve.
Well, we started the weekend with Punk winning an event. We ended a weekend with Punk winning an event. He took it over Chris G in the grand final. What was surprising is he lost really early.
Mm-hmm.
He lost in pools, Punk did. And he had to win 13 straight matches in the loser's bracket to win. It was an impressive run. Chris G, he got second here in the Street Fighter tournament. He also got second in the Marvel tournament, losing to Ryan LV, who's just winning everything in sight in that game. So pretty good weekend for him. Samurai finishing third. Snake Eyes getting back in this groove. He got fourth. Pinoy, player we haven't really seen in the rankings in a while, getting fifth along with 801 Strider. And then Futile, who you see often at West Coast or Wednesday Night Fights, he tied for seventh with Canada's Ceroblast.
Steve, you sent me this clip, the dash under. I think we have that, CJ. If you can roll it whenever you want. What did you want us to see in this clip, dude?
It's exactly what Donka was talking about earlier, just how he gets into positions to do the most possible damage. Right here. Right there, that EX dash under to get under the air fireball, and he uses it to finish off not just the round but the set. That's how he won losers finals. Punk is just making so many good decisions throughout, no matter when he's playing. He's just on point right now. I can talk, I swear.
I like that clip as an example too, because I think there's a couple ways people go about these fighting games, and there's Akuma jumped and threw an EX air fireball. I can wait here, make it whiff, and he wasted a meter. Or there's I'm gonna walk, dash under, and punish him for 400 damage. Being in the state of mind to actively go for the max damage way to get around this situation is something that not a lot of players, even the best players, do, and that's what practicing matchups over and over again gives you. You can beat someone in neutral, and that's great, but it's more consistent to just get as much as you possibly can.
In that clip, he does the dash under. He puts himself in the corner. Did he need to be in the corner to get those landing frames to get damage off of that?
I think that's just where he ended up. The EX1 obviously has like the projectile invincibility that lets him get through the fireball, so he just kind of ended up where he ended up, and the combo was going to kill either way.
Cool. That was still a pretty exciting tournament. Is there anything else you guys want to say about the West Coast Warzone?
Steve's recap.
So my BS question, just to stir the pot, as Donko would say, was going to be when you have two CPT events in the same weekend and you split, players go here and there, does it delegitimize in any way, shape, or form the victory at either one?
I don't think it I don't think it takes away from the victory per se, but I do think it's something that Capcom should do everything it can to avoid. You're splitting up players, you're splitting up eyeballs. The entire point of this tour is to get eyeballs on Street Fighter V, promote the product. And if you're making events compete against itself or compete against each other, that's a loss. Just look at what's going to happen on Memorial Day weekend, where you have 3 major events going down in one weekend. It doesn't do anybody any favors, in my book.
Now, there are some points now. Let me see if I can pull up these points. By the way, the CPT recap site has been revamped and looks pretty nice. Of course, now we have Haitani number 1 470 points. Shen at 400, sitting at second. But Punk, who's our guest tonight and who's also on this board, is at 12 with 170 points. Is it way too early, Steve, to do the math to know what's that secret number you need to get so that you're guaranteed a spot?
First of all, I want to give props to SRK Ranking. If you're not following him, he does the stats for Shoryuken.com. He went back and he recalculated what it took to qualify last year under this year's format, and the number, if I remember correctly, was about 520. 525, somewhere in that range. So that's going to be the magic number, I feel. The actual cutoff might be around there. I think once you hit 575 or 600, that's when you can say pretty confidently, I don't have to worry about it. If you're right around that cutoff number, it might get a little dicey because people are going to change their strategies this year compared to last year.
And it's already looked a little different. You started out last year, and obviously, you had Infiltration and Tokido top 2ing like the first 3 or 4 tournaments. And it seemed like a lot of the points were stuck with these people, and premieres were an automatic qualifier, and things were way, way different. So I think the points are going to be spread a lot further this year, and it's going to be some of the people on the lower end aren't going to be sneaking through the same way they did last year. I think you'll have an even more well-rounded field than ever.
And of course, at the top of that leaderboard is NuckleDoo, the reigning champion.
Yeah, he doesn't have to qualify, right? He's already in.
He's in there.
Yeah,
he's in
there.
Like swimwear.
Yeah. Okay. Steve, we're moving on here. You want to talk about? This is something that Steve brought up, and I love that Steve always comes up with these stats and this data. I feel like it's kind of a downer topic here, but the idea that the numbers of registrants to these tournaments is down, Steve. Am I hearing that right?
Yeah. Just looking at NCR posted their pools today. You have just under 300 players registered for Street Fighter V this weekend. Last year it was closer to 350. Now, in both cases, that doesn't count the pool of death. So there's possible that 100 people show up last minute, play through the pool of death, and the numbers will be even. But we've seen NCR's numbers down. We saw final round. They had problems last year, which certainly contributed to it, but their numbers are down. Evo, a few weeks back, they don't post their numbers publicly, but there was a glitch on the Smash.gg registration site, or I don't know if it was a glitch or a workaround, which allowed people to see how many had registered, and they were down significantly. They were at 1,500 at a point where they were at around 2,500 last year at the same time. So there's this growing reality that we got to face where Street Fighter V isn't as the shine has worn off. The new game smell has gone away, and we're not seeing the growth that we did over the course of Street Fighter 4.
Now, of course, Final Round last year was the first CPT event with Street Fighter 5. So
Yes.
it had perhaps an outlier, large number of entrants. I have a theory, and I'd love to hear y'all's opinion on it. No, this is this thing. I was listening. Actually, I didn't know that Mike Ross and Gutex now have a podcast, an audio podcast, and I was checking it out. And they were talking about, they brought up this concept of it's not the FGC, it's the FGE. Have you heard that?
I have not heard the
It's not the fighting game community, it's fighting game entertainment.
Okay.
And that's what the E-League is, that's what these tournaments are. Is there an element of people are starting to prefer to watch it
Oh, yeah, and that's what I was about
than
to bring
compete
up.
in it? So it's not necessarily a bad thing within the context of people are still, I guess you'd have to see the stream numbers to see if that bears out. But the fact that it's becoming more of an entertainment avenue than necessarily, oh shit, I want to go and compete with these guys. No, I know who the good people are. I want to watch them.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going in that direction. I think, with the invitationals and with the CPT in place, it's become a lot easier to see who the best people are, and a lot of people just kind of watch them play and they go, you know what, that's never going to be me. I'd rather be entertained by it, maybe play on home online a little bit. So I think what's more important to look at, and I don't have these numbers, are the stream numbers. However, of course, it's bad for the open tournaments themselves when they lose a lot of entrants. And it makes you wonder, even though we all agreed we'd love to have open tournaments and invitationals, where the open tournaments are going to go if not enough people are registering for them. Are they going to be able to monetize the stream counts? Are they going to be able to get the stream counts, etc.? And that's going to be, the big thing we have to see over the coming years. And I think a big problem for us is, obviously League of Legends and Dota and all these games have huge stream numbers, but they also have huge amount of players because their online infrastructure is there.
And they're free to play and all that.
And they're free to play and all that. And I won't go into details. We've talked about this a million times, but, Street Fighter's online infrastructure and pricing and all that are just not at the level where people who see the game on stream are going to hop into it.
Well, regardless, just from watching streams, based on Season 1 to now, I find myself enjoying watching these tournaments more. Kind of like I was at towards the end of Street Fighter 4, where I knew so much more about the game and I'd been with it so much longer. I was really getting a lot of enjoyment out of it. That's happening to me with Street Fighter 5, even though so many people love to talk smack about the game. Gentlemen, what do you have to add?
I feel like, as far as your initial question there about where are we with the numbers, yes, the numbers are down. We know that for sure. Why? Well, as you put forward, there could be a couple of different answers. I do think it's too early to tell right now to make that judgment. We know that Street Fighter V didn't have a stellar first year in terms of how the community received it, and you would expect, it's brand new, shiny. No one even had an opinion on it this time last year, really. It was just beginning to get, its reputation for whatever that would become. So, yes, I would expect numbers to be down this year considering how people received it last year. But I think if we check back in 4 or 5 months and see where things go with new developments in the game, little fixes that they're going to make, this new balance patch, new characters, it might be a completely different direction we see very quickly.
Is it dumb I'm sorry, Steve, let me just pop this in real quick. I'm watching Zangief doing really well, or Itazan doing really well with Zangief, but I know that character's going to change. I've already seen some of the new animations. I've already seen some of the new stuff he has. I kind of just want to get to it already. I don't want to be watching these matches that are going to have an asterisk. Well, maybe not, but I'm getting antsy about it. It's just give it to me already.
I mean, I agree with you. Thankfully, the changes are pretty minute. I don't think the tier list is jumping around a lot, but I think everyone agrees that patching the game, a week or a month after things get serious is kind of an awkward time, and probably due more to manpower than anything else. Because no one would optimally decide, here's the Pro Tour start date, and then the patch is going to be after that.
Steve, I'm sorry I interrupted you earlier. What were you going to throw at us?
I was just going to counter John. You talked about small changes. I think that's part of the reason why you're seeing that struggle. People just have a bad feeling about the game because for a lot of us, it's just not, the experience isn't enjoyable to play it. Gameplay aside, all of the loading screens, the issues with save states in training mode, all of the quality of this. We're 14 months into the game. We still have to do this. Those things not getting fixed are turning a lot of people off. There's just not a whole lot of love for the game itself. So people who still want to watch it, there's plenty of people who don't enjoy playing it, but they still like watching it. But there's still a lot of people who don't enjoy playing it, and that just turns them off to the whole thing. Now, is this the death knell of the FGC? Hell no. We've got 3 big games coming out this year. We've got Injustice coming out next month. We've got Tekken 7 the month after. We've got Marvel Infinite later this year. There's still going to be numbers there. There's still going to be a spike. But it's very possible that we might be looking at least for a while, an FGC that isn't necessarily anchored by the main Street Fighter series.
Yo, did y'all see
That's
that?
very fair.
Did y'all see that Flash Super from Injustice 2? The dude goes back in time. Man. Anyway, Finitude here in our chat says, put Sakura and Sagat in the game if you want numbers. We're still waiting.
That's easy. that's just, I mean, we don't need to talk about that for more than like 5 seconds, but yeah, I mean, Capcom is sitting on a gold mine of nostalgia and they're not using it right now. So yeah, I agree.
Hey, they're busting out the nostalgia for Ultra Street Fighter 2. $40.
Hey, how much do you want to play it? How much do you want to play? At least it's not a full price game. I played that. I played it.
That's full price for that.
I played it
Switch,
at PAX South. They had it there at the Nintendo booth. It played like Street Fighter. Obviously, it plays like you would expect.
You would hope so.
But Ken is broken in that, or Evil Ken is, or Angry
Most
Ken. What the hell
people think
his name
the Evil
is.
Ken is pretty broken.
But it was also kind of hilarious. I'd like to see tournaments in that, and I'd like to see nothing but Angry Ken and what the hell's his name? Violent Ken. Violent Ken. That's what it is. It would come to me. It was fun. I actually played with one of the Capcom reps that was there, and he bodied me. And you could tell that he had been taking. He told me, "I've been taking it easy on everybody all day because I want people to enjoy the game." And he assumed that I know how to play ST or something. And it didn't work out for me.
I am maining Colin, and I like weird characters. And I want, I'm fine with 5 new characters personally. But I have to believe there's a reason, like a legal reason or something, why they're not putting nostalgic characters in this game.
What? Who has the rights to the characters? That's not Capcom.
I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. But there's no way someone made the business decision that 6 brand new characters was better than 1 Sagat in terms of making people want to play the game.
Well,
I just can't imagine that. 5 and Akuma. But who did people care about, Akuma or Colin? They cared about Akuma.
Guys, I'm going to take us off this topic and go to a topic that you guys have been talking about. I saw it on Event Hubs. I hear you guys talking about it. I would like you to explain what the hell a robbery character is. John, kick us off, my man.
All right. And I feel like we should probably start as a community summing this up and being done with it. I wrote an article yesterday about the robbery characters and how we've perceived them at the beginning of Season 2 versus the splash they're making now that tournaments are starting to happen. For those that are unaware, a robbery character is a character that once they get their V-trigger, one little mistake, one little advantage for them can spell the absolute end for you. And that being a character like Balrog, that if he gets a single hit, he can go into V-trigger, hit you across the screen a few times, reset you, hit you again to stun you, and then kill you. So it's like 1 or 2, maybe 3 touches, not 1, 2 or 3 touches, and you're dead. And these characters primarily identified as Balrog, Laura, and Urien. And it's been a lot of grief, for people playing Street Fighter V online. In Season 2, these are amongst the strongest in the game, so we're seeing them all the time. And what it comes down to is the players that feel like they're a little more advanced are playing against other players online that are not necessarily, they show that they're not quite at the same level. They're not as thoughtful, they're not as good, but because of Street Fighter V's relatively low execution and these characters' ability to just steamroll you with 1 or 2 hits, characters that are perceived as players that are perceived as lower skill are winning a lot more. So naturally, as we begin the tournament circuit, everyone's afraid these robbery characters are going to come in and they're going to dominate the top 8 brackets. We're just going to see Uriens, Lauras, and Balrogs winning left and right. And thankfully, that's not exactly what we've been seeing. We've seen a couple of them emerge here and there, and Smug did win South by Southwest with Balrog. But otherwise, it's been a plethora of other characters keeping things fresh in a lot of the top 8 brackets.
We have Peepski in the chat saying Balrog ain't high tier. Dude's out here just low tier mentally.
I must be of the lowest tier because I think he's high tier.
You're low tier mentally, man. Rustbus1 says getting hit by Balrog from across the screen. That's on you. All right. Thoughts on this robbery characters, man?
Well, I mean, one interesting thing to note that is similar, and I think a lot of people don't think about when you look at the 3 characters that John listed, Urien, Balrog, and Laura, is not only their V-triggers, but the fact that they avoid the game's knockdown system pretty well. So in Street Fighter V, when you get knocked down, most moves allow you to tech backwards or they allow you to tech neutrally. Mm-hmm. And these are 2 different timings. In order to cover both, you have to weaken your setup, etc. This is kind of what stops the game from being constant setups all the time. And it doesn't totally stop it, but it helps. Urien can hit you out of the end of his combo in Aegis in the air. You'll flip in the air. You won't get knocked down. You always land at the same time. Laura's command grab enders and her hit grab enders always make you neutral tech instead of back tech. You can't choose to back tech. Balrog can finish his combo with the V-trigger punches on the ground and then reset you while you're still standing. All three of these characters totally avoid knocking you down in a way where you can back tech, and they boil the game down to a situation where they know exactly what's going to happen, and they don't have to react to the other character at all. So
is that what makes them high tier 40?
I think that's what makes people not like it.
This is
not
like-
only does Balrog hit you, but he hits you, and then you have to sit there and you're standing and you guess high or low or throw, but you can't back tech, you can't neutral tech, you can't no tech. There's no decision there. And I think that those three characters have that in common, and it's very frustrating for a lot of people.
Yeah, and we are seeing, though, that the pros, maybe like the top, I would say like 5% of the best, are able to deal with these characters with other characters, and that's great. And that's good because it keeps the streams fresh. It keeps, like, the audience aren't just watching Yuri and Laura Balrog all the time. But what's happening is the more advanced players that aren't quite pros are still losing to the intermediate players that choose these characters and can then just dial in these really easy to do sequences. And so it's not going to happen so much in the latter brackets of the tournament, but if you go online, you're going to see these characters causing a lot more grief. And I think that's where a lot of this conversation has stemmed from. But again, we are getting a patch. Balrog's losing 25 health, so hey, it's probably all fixed, right?
No, it's interesting. It's because, and a lot of this comes from what you described, which is that this is easier to do now. There was characters in Street Fighter 5 or Street Fighter 4. We kind of had the opposite scenario where you saw, famous matches between Zhao Hai and Sako where they're getting unblockable 5 times in a row, and that's every bit as gross as anything, or grosser than what's happened in this game. But it was super hard to do, right? So you only saw that at the high level, and you didn't see guys online necessarily getting unblockable 4 times in a row and losing. In this game, anyone can do these setups, anyone can do these combos. So the people who are probably more apt and more likely to complain, the online players and the people who aren't the pros, are getting hit by it when they've never gotten hit by it before. This was not a problem before. You didn't get hit. You didn't play versus Sako if you were Joe Schmo. But now everyone's Sako.
So to finish it off, do these characters deserve to be referred to as robbery characters, yes or no?
I don't think so. I think it's just... I think there's always going to be those momentum-based characters in the game. It's just that in these instances, it's worse than what you see in most other games. At least most other games that play similar to Street Fighter 5. I'll put it that way.
Well, I would judge Nikali and like Ibuki as momentum-based characters in this game. They can steamroll you, but they got to hit you a couple of times. They got to make a couple of decisions, and it's in those knockdown situations. Ibuki's pretty bad, but again, her damage output isn't like Yuri and Balrog or Laura's. These characters, the robbery characters, if you will, I do think that they are considered, or I would consider them robbery characters as we've described them. And I do think that when it comes down to it, it still is very demoralizing to lose to them. And that's the main thing, is that it's never fun to lose, don't get me wrong. But a lot of times when you lose, you at least can take away, like, okay, I was outplayed, the other person outsmarted me somehow. And with these characters, it extra doesn't feel that way a lot of the time. And I think that's where the grief is coming from. So I would still say that, yes, they still are deserving of the title robbery.
It's goofy because, I come from my first game that I played very seriously was Marvel, which, I mean, is like way crazier in that sense than this game will ever be. But I think a lot of people expect Street Fighter to be less so like that. And so maybe
Marvel requires execution a lot harder.
And there's a lot more execution, exactly. So I think it's having that in a place where people didn't want to see it. And, we did hear the same complaint about Ultras in Street Fighter 4 rewarding you for losing, and now we have V-Triggers rewarding you for losing. So I think we'll hear this complaint for years to come, but I do agree that the characters are different. They're scary.
And I want to say to Steve, I do hold that, and it is on me, because I see other players that are better than me that are able to beat these characters consistently. So I can sit here and complain about it, or I can just get better until the point where I can beat them consistently as well. And that's the mentality that I'm trying to adopt full time and not whine about it, I just thinking from like I want Street Fighter 5 to do well, and I don't want a bunch of people to get pissed off and quit playing. That it would be better if these characters didn't operate that way. But that's neither here nor there because they're not going to change that much. So let's deal with what we have. I will get better, and I will get back to you.
But if they're not getting mad at that, they're getting mad at something else.
Very true.
It's partially a mentality thing in my mind.
I think that Low Tier God said it best when he said, if you
No,
play
he didn't.
Guile, Balrog, or Ibuki, don't shake my hand.
Sorry, somebody's asking for the set. It's behind this curtain, by the way. It's still there. John, did you pick up a Red Bull sponsorship without letting us know?
Red Bull give me free stuff. Yeah, I wish.
Guys, lively conversation. We got to wrap it up with a block grab. Let's see if we're ready with that. Here it comes. Boom. Block grab. Shouts to Ian Barker for making that
Way long ago.
several months ago. All right, guys. For this one, we're gonna do I'm gonna tell you 6 names in honor of Punk, who's 18 years old, if I'm not mistaken. I can verify that here in moments.
And we're about to have him right after this.
We're gonna do a team that you're gonna get to pick 3 of these guys for your 21 and under team.
And we didn't even plan this in advance, so you're going to have to ration your picks.
So
You're going to have to
we
make
have
sure
6
you don't pick
names
all
here.
3 before you run out.
These are 6 names, and you get to pick 3. All right, John. We're gonna start with you, buddy. These are your
Okay.
options.
No, just go one at a time. We'll still do it the regular way. Just go one at a time.
All right, you're gonna drag it all out. Here we go.
We'll be quick.
Smug.
We'll do it fast.
We're gonna start off with Smug, right off the top.
Do I want him on my team? I get 3 people,
You only get 3
Yeah.
people,
and there are 5 more that I don't know.
and there are 5 more that you don't know.
He plays Balrog, so yes.
That was my answer too. So grab.
Steve.
I will block simply because you guys want him so bad. I would take him from my squad, but yeah.
If there's not another Balrog player under 18, this is the easiest grab of the whole group. I mean, yeah.
All right, number 2. Our guest here in a couple of minutes, Punk.
I'm grabbing. You guys got first pick. I'm grabbing Punk.
Yeah, I'll grab Punk too. He's great.
So earlier when we were trying to come up with this list, John was like, can you explain to me more of this block grab? Because right now it sounds like you're just trying to grab a bunch of 18-year-olds. Disregard that. We're trying to put them on our team, all right? Top 3.
Phrasing.
Punk.
And right to the
You know, I'm nervous because I'm about to be at 2 out of 6 or 2 out of my 3 already. But of course I have to take Punk. I mean, this is like
Dang.
Punk's
He's
the
the
number
alpha.
1 18-year-old. He's cooking boys with secondaries. I mean, he's completely number 1 right now out of the under 18 crew.
All right. So I think you guys have 1 pick left, and there are 4.
Well, Steve's got 2.
All right.
I got 2.
Next, I actually have an opinion on this guy, Phenom. This guy, you're not even gonna make it through the list. Plus, you're cheating by looking at it, by the way. John.
Okay, cool. I'm super not gonna grab Phenom because he's been consistent. I will give him that. But I don't really like his attitude since Street Fighter 5 dropped because he's winning. He's winning with my character, and he's also like, yeah, but I don't even like to lose whatever. Oh, check for a bunch of money because I want to see people with jobs. That's stupid. And I'm like, oh man. Yeah, I'm gonna totally block Phenom.
All right, Steve.
I'm going to grab Phenom. I mean, look at what he's doing in Street Fighter 5. He doesn't even like the game. Imagine what he'll do in a game he likes. And of course, I want my face on a shirt in Europe. So yes, I'm grabbing.
Oh, because I forgot that if you're on Steve's team, esports team, you have to wear a shirt with Steve's face emblazoned on it.
What's the face
Large.
look like? Can we get the
It's
face?
that face
gonna
right
be-
there. You're looking at it.
It's this face right here.
Wearing the headset
You know-
and everything.
Just an iron-on sticker. He just puts it on the white shirt, puts it on there.
The $5 sponsorship right there.
Phenom, what do you think, Donka?
You know, I'll let Punk tell the story actually later, but at South by Southwest, behind the scenes, I learned that Phenom eats burgers with a fork and knife and not with his hands. And I feel like that's a PR disaster. So I'm going to have to block on Phenom.
Well, speaking of Phenom, when we were at Capcom Cup, we were doing the interviews with those guys. We were putting together those little videos. That guy came in with zero desire to be a part of these videos. I'm not going to knock him for that. I'm not knocking for the fact that in this modern day and age of the FGC where you need to be marketable, this guy's not doing himself that many favors. So
I really like the kid, so I'm not going to talk about that. I just think that, he can't be on my team.
fair enough. All right. How many you got left, John?
I got one left.
Steve?
I got one.
I've got one, too.
We got 3 names left. John Takeuchi.
Ooh. See, I wish I remembered what the other ones were. Because he's a pretty good choice because he plays a weird, zany character, and he's got like a lot of personality. When he wins and stuff, he pops up. And can I maybe come back if I don't? If I block him now?
No, you got to make that call now. It's like the sushi boat. It passes by once. It might not pass by again.
John Takasushi. I'm gonna block just because I want to see who else comes down the pike.
All right. Steve?
I have to get in our Kappa's good graces again because I blocked Daigo last week. But no, I want my face on a shirt in Asia. So yes, I'm grabbing.
That's it. You're tapped out, Steve. You don't have any more picks.
I'm good. I'm happy with my squad.
Steve finished early.
You want to see those dabs with the shirt on and the whole works?
No, have him dab while wearing a shirt with me dabbing on it.
Because then you don't see his.
What you got, man?
So I talk about Balrog a lot, right? And how I think Balrog is like the thinking man's character because you thought really well and you picked Balrog.
The thinking happened before the match.
The thinking happened before the match. Rashid is also a thinking man's character. I think Rashid is totally bonkers. I think he's top 5 for sure.
Really?
But because he's not a meme yet, I hate Rashid because when I complain about Rashid, people think I'm a complainer. So I'm going to have to block Takeuchi for being a Rashid picker.
So John still has one and you still have one?
Yes.
Okay,
no
guys.
Rashid pickers on my team until he's a meme.
We got 2 names left on this list. One of them, arguably the best 21 and under, is Do Knuckle Do Dang.
Oh, I held out, and I will take this guy because he does it all. He teabags, he's entertaining, he's like quiet and mysterious sometimes, and then he also wins freaking Capcom Pro Tours. Like, I can't not grab Knuckle Do. So, absolutely, I'll take it.
Steve has a smirk on his face when he heard you say you want to grab Knuckle Do.
Haha, the joke's not dead yet.
It's so lame that I have to have the same team as John, but I feel like I'm going to get trolled by the last pick. So, I mean...
Roll the dice, buddy.
I mean, do one Capcom Cup, and, I mean, he plays Guile, and I like Guile. I like Do.
Can we get some
really
Jeopardy
trying
music?
to talk yourself into this.
Can we get the Jeopardy music going?
I'm going to grab Do, and John and I will co-manage the same team of 18-year-olds. It'll be our team of 18-year-olds.
Dude, we can take him to Chuck E. Cheese together.
We'll take
can go
them.
out
We
here
will
on the
drive
street.
the van around with Punk and Smug and Knuckle Do.
You give them the Capri Suns
And
the Lunchables.
Oh, man, we need a soccer mom van.
We will have a van. Someone Photoshop that right now.
FTC
It'll be
moms.
me,
And we'll
John,
take
Smug,
on
Punk, and
Steve's
Do.
team.
And that's an all-American team, too.
Proud to be.
I'm good with it.
I've
All
got
right.
a great global footprint.
Yeah.
Who was the last guy, by the way? Who was the last player?
The last person on this list is none other than Dominic McLean, Sonic Fox.
Oh,
That's a lot of money right there. That's the guy
Yes.
taking all. That's smart. That's a smart team pickup because he's collecting on the side while the rest of us worry about our baby game Street Fighter V. He's playing a real man's mature game, Mortal
And
Kombat X.
if you picked up Fox and you picked up Do, you would have enough money to buy the Chuck E. Cheese franchise, and then, the sky's the limit from there. So,
We have GTO Akira 41 saying no furry on my team. Why not? That guy, it's a whole nother
Why do you
subgenre.
read some of these comments? I have no idea.
Just for fun, right there. Slade Azuma
can we just
666
read all the hateful comments?
Now, guys, that brings us to the end of Block Grab. Congratulations moving forward with your 21 and under esports teams. I look forward to seeing the big Steve face on shirts. Gentlemen, we'll see you next week, guys. Thank you for joining
Thank you
us.
guys so much.
Steve, did you want to give that one piece of trivia that you had prepared about the game that turns?
Oh,
What
yeah.
game turns 5 years old today?
Are our question of the day. This is something I'm going to try and work in every week. In honor of Skullgirls, which 5 years ago this week released and is going through a bit of a revival thanks to its appearance at Combo Breaker and the work that community is doing. We asked on Twitter, what game would you like to see make a comeback competitively? And we had some pretty good ones. We had a couple of shout outs for rival schools. One from Richard Nguyen. That would be a nice one to see. You know, any game with Sakura in it, I'm happy. We had El Saboroso. My Spanish is terrible. Saying, let's see some Clay Fighter. We've got the World Clay Fighter champion on our show. So, and the one that kind of made me raise my non-existent eyebrow was Street Fighter Cross Tekken from Dylan McGahee. He said, it's weird to see so many people looking back on it fondly now. Would love to see it get a real chance.
It got a real chance. It got plenty of chance. It got all the chances it needed.
But that was back when it was terrible. After the patch, it got nothing. How do you think the game would do if it launched in the state that it was in after the patch?
It still sucked. I'm sorry. The game was still bad.
That's what's wrong with it. Everyone hates it now just because.
Disclaimer, I got top 16 at EVO in Street Fighter Cross Tekken. The first version, when it was really bad. That game sucks.
Is that the year that they
It
had
is inherently a flawed game.
that they had
in my opinion,
and
of
Mike
course.
Ross versus Infiltration and Laugh, was it?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
they got double P'd, if I'm not mistaken. Was that a double
They-
perfect? It was rough.
It
was the
was-
point. And
It was very rough.
that was the last nail in the Street Fighter Cross Tekken. No, that probably wasn't it. Guys, see you next week. We got a guest to get to and a set to get to.
Adios.
John, who writes for Event Hubs. You can check out his stuff there. He's at Velociraptor, spelled with a 1 because he's cool. We have Ace King at Ace King Offsuit. That dude puts out cool articles on .esports. You can check his work out there, as well as follow him for all the badass schedules if you want to know what's what and what to watch on the weekends. Gentlemen, thank you so much.
Ooh, that was a
See you
long
next week.
panel.
That was a long ass panel, and then you're like, nah, say every name and do them one by one.
You're right.
So we're gonna bring on Punk here in a second, but in the meantime, you were at South by Southwest. We
I
didn't
was.
we didn't really get a long opportunity to talk about it on episode 0, which has now been lost to the internet.
Right.
How was that experience? You had, among others, Punk there. I went there on the last day because you gave me your exhibitor pass because you didn't want to go that last day. But tell me how that whole thing went down before we bring on Punk and ask him about it as well.
I mean, it was really cool. Obviously, I was not the best player there anywhere close. I was definitely one of the worst players there. But being local, they invited me on since, I was just a short drive away from where the event was going on. And it was really entertaining. And I think you've seen the same thing echoed at South by Southwest at E-League, which is the great players really enjoy being there. And it gives them an outlet to, practice versus the best players and then play versus the best players. It gives good show matches. We avoid the pools matches that people sometimes don't like to like. It was really, really awesome. And I was glad that even though I didn't do so hot, I got the opportunity to play there. And I'm glad I avoided the 0-7 meme.
You didn't D with a 6-1. I also just want to give a little bit of help to Victor. To CJ, who's in our control room. I think he's trying to find him on Skype. It's Victor. Look for Victor. That's the name of this gentleman that we'll have on the show. CJ's going to call him up here in a second. It was cool, though, man. The presentation. The event itself. You walk into that. I mean, I have beef with where they put that theater. So completely far removed from where all the game stuff was happening. Because in previous years, they've put it right in the game floor. But you walk in, it's like, oh my God, this looks awesome. It looked cool. It sounded cool. It felt, dare I say, intimate. You had Yipes on there being kind of like the MC/host. It was great. I thought it was a really cool event.
Yeah, I thought it was one of the events where we really got it right, where having Yipes as the MC, having, David and James as the commentators, as well as F-Word and Logan, really gave people what they wanted to see and nothing else. Sometimes, we see companies inject what they have and people may not want to see as much, but here it was all FGC the whole time, and it was all people you grew to know and love, so, other than me.
I've grown to know and love you.
You better.
It's been a long time, dude. We're still trying to get Punk on the line, but isn't it crazy we're doing the show again?
But as I said last week, and it's been lost in the archive, I do think they brought me on at the worst possible time as a player, because I don't think Vega's a very good character, so I've been dropping him. I've been saying, you know what, enough and enough with complaining. I'm going to drop him. I tried Guile. Guile's very, very good, top-tier character. I wasn't great with him. I didn't like playing him as much. I found Colleen, and it wasn't the right time. It was like a couple weeks after Colleen came out. I was still dropping stuff. If I was at South by Southwest right now, I would have won another match.
Dang.
I would have gone 2-5. I'm
well,
saying
too
it right
bad.
now.
I think we're almost going to have Punk on here, but come on, man. How can you say that had it been... You got to do it in the moment.
It would have been, because now I
missed.
only was able to play the character for like a couple weeks. You know, I didn't know all the setups. I didn't know all the intricacies, but now I know all the intricacies. Colin and I are tight.
Sorry. Yes, that is the guy. Go ahead and give him a ring and see if he signs on. We're waiting on...
But
he needs actually 2 minutes.
he needs 2 minutes. But one thing I did
Watch his
get to
banter
do
for 2 minutes.
at South by Southwest was meet Punk and get to play with him a little bit. And he's a really fun guy to hang around with, even though, and I think everyone already knows this about him, so I'm not letting out any secrets. He's a cool guy, and even though his persona often is rude, he's not a rude dude.
I think it's he's just riding that wave. Hey, Punk, I think we have you. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Hey, Punk. We are now joined by Punk the God, and I'm going to do one of these. What's going on, guys? Punk, thank you so much for joining us, man. I appreciate you, especially considering that you're at Justin's house. You're not even at your own house. Hey, is that Justin back there?
It's got to
No,
be.
that's Martin.
Oh,
Or is that John Cena over your right shoulder?
That's definitely John Cena.
So bear with us as we fix the framing here on the shots. Punk, we were really excited to have you on for more than one obvious reason. Of course, hey, it looks like you have a marn growing out of your shoulder. You might want to get that looked at by the doctor. But of course, you won E-League. Or at least your group on Friday. You won West Coast Warzone. What is going on with you, Punk? How are you on this tear?
I don't know. I just try to play, stay sharp, and if I win, I win. If I don't, then I just don't win.
You say stay sharp. You were known, at least at one point, as kind of an online terror back in Street Fighter Cross Tekken a little bit, back in early Street Fighter 5. I realized that recently you said you've been playing less online. How are you practicing?
I normally practice mostly when I get to a major. I'll practice. But now, since I'm at Justin's house right now, it's a lot of practice I could be doing now. So that's really good for me. So that's helping me a lot.
Here, CJ, let's just stay on this shot of Punk the God here in the meantime. So that's one thing that I thought was super cool because, I was hitting up your PG reps. I'm like, hey, man, can we get Punk on the show? And he's like, he's at Justin's house. I'm like, oh, my goodness, the amount of lab work and sets that you guys are probably getting. And you were streaming the other night all together. What has that event or what has that experience been like for you so far? Getting to hang out with those guys.
Really good. They're all really nice people. Justin, Mar, Nasser. They've taken care of me so well since I've been here. So I like these guys. It's really nice here.
So what is it that makes you begin the trash talk then? Because right now we're hearing all niceties. Everyone's great. What is it that makes, talking to Flash Metroid something where you're telling him you're getting cooked by secondaries? What is it that makes talking to, Smug something like that? When do they get to feel the wrath of the god?
Well, Flash, he's actually talked a lot of shit about me, so, I have to show him who's the alpha is. And I'm not going to just, talk trash to someone for no reason. It has to be a reason to set it up. So Flash had it coming to him, and he got what he deserved.
So why do you think they're talking trash in the first place if you never start it?
I'm not sure. You have no clue.
I had a question for you.
I one more follow-up to that. Do you think any of it has to do with your former reputation of maybe starting the trash talk online? Because there are many anecdotes that at one point there was a legendary CM Punk on Xbox Live who would send a lot of internet hate mail. What's happened from then to now? Or was that not you?
I don't know, man. That name sounds like the wrestler, you know. But that mystery CM Punk guy, I think that's like the past, you know, of someone that will not be mentioned here, but that's like the past, but it's different now. So I don't know. I've never talked to Flash online or offline before. I just know he's like been talking shit for no reason, but just let him keep doing what he's doing. You know, I'll win events while he struggle at events, and I will win. So.
Now, you had I think there was a funny blow up with you at ESL with him, wasn't there? You were talking trash to him, and you cut to the commentators, and they were having a good time about it. Is that where that beef started, or was it prior to that?
No, he was talking trash about me at Red Bull Battlegrounds, I heard. So I've never said anything about it. I'll just let it be like, yeah, I don't really care. So I'll just wait. And at ESL, you know, I got my chance. And it's all going good now.
Hey, Punk, we have more questions for you about all this and the beef and your actual tournament play and all that business, but I wanted to take a step back because while you've been tearing up the charts and doing a lot for a while now, there's some people out there who might not know you as well. There was a funny tweet that Justin had put out saying that you said that everybody knows who you are, and then somebody came up for a picture of Justin and Marn, and you're like, what about me? And they said, who are you, right? Let's tell people who you are, man. Where are you from? When did you start playing fighting games? And when you're not playing fighting games, what are you doing with your life?
I'm from Philadelphia, and I don't know, what were the questions again?
When did you start playing fighting games? Because you're 18, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, I started in Street Fighter 4. Like, when Street Fighter 4 released, I got it the first day, and I've been playing since then.
What inspired you to get Street Fighter 4?
The commercial looked really cool. I saw Abel, like, tornado throw Chun-Li, I think it was, and that just looked so cool to me. And I was like, yeah, I have to get this game.
Were you, like, into competitive games at the time, or what other games were you playing that you picked up Street Fighter?
I played Call of Duty a lot.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, so I wasn't like competitive, but I just played it for fun.
And what was it about Street Fighter that got you hooked? Because one thing buying it and thinking the commercial's cool, but then the other thing is, you know, getting into it.
I don't know. I just started playing a lot more, and it was really fun. And then I just started watching tournaments, and I was like, this seems really cool. I wonder if I could like be that good one day to play with these guys. So I just kept playing, and now I can actually play with those guys.
Yeah, and it seems like you kind of always knew. Seeing your demeanor on there, you're kind of like just, yeah, this is what it was always going to be. Is that your, how would you describe your temperament or your personality when you're at these events?
I think I'm very confident and a little cocky, I would say. I like to go into matches thinking like everyone's not as good as me, you know. I think that helps me keep the confidence up and helps me win a lot of matches. So I like to just keep that in my head.
Well, I mean, speaking of thinking that people aren't as good as you, you're pretty known for picking different characters in these situations. And at West Coast Warzone, you lost to a maybe less than stellar Urian player. You know, you got cooked with your own secondary playing Nash. What happened there, and how did you feel having this guy pop off on you?
You know, I just came from final round, had to fly all the way to I don't remember where it is, but I had to fly all the way to West Coast Warzone, and I was definitely like really tired. So I definitely didn't play as good as I could have with Nash, because I think if I did play as good as I could, I would have won. But that's a different story. It didn't happen. So I just think I was really tired.
We have a clip.
How did you feel about him? Well, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we have a clip of the pop off on Twitter that we'll play here in the meantime. But back to you, man.
So did you feel like you were just going to beat this guy again in losers finals or whatever? Were you nervous at all to fight him again because you didn't want to lose? I mean, how does it feel having him get kind of so excited over beating you like that, even though you're just playing Nash and you've just come back from another tournament?
I know if anyone beat me, like that's, I guess, lesser known, they'll definitely pop off because that's what people do. So I definitely expect that to happen a lot as people beat me. So it's like I don't really let it get in my head. I thought it was really funny. Like I was laughing. I thought it was very cool. I'm like, oh, that's cute. He's popping off. I was like, yeah, I'll see this guy lose his finals, and then we'll see if he can pop off then.
We're having questions coming in for you from the chat. So I'll let you keep taking it here.
I see one of the questions right now. I had the pleasure of meeting you at South by Southwest and found out even before this Twitter knowledge came out that you look up maybe a little bit too much to a certain Bonchan. Where did that, respect come from?
It's Street Fighter 4. His Sagat was so good. I just love watching that guy play. It's like, it looks magical, Just watching him play looks very magical. He doesn't, he makes very few mistakes, and he plays so clean that it just looks so good to watch.
One thing that I always like seeing are people who are taking advantage of an opportunity, right? You're on the big stage. There's that pop-off, by the way. We're still seeing it there on the screen. That dude he's gonna have that on his tombstone. I once beat Punk and popped off hard. But the thing that I find exciting is when people take advantage of an opportunity. We had K-Brad on about this time a year ago, and he was saying, I'm tired of these boring gamers. I like people with personality. I like people who take advantage of being in the spotlight. And you strike me as one of those kind of guys. You're on TV, man. You're on the CPT. You're winning. You're all over the place. They're getting tweets and retweets, all that stuff. How are you feeling about that fame and publicity, or however you want to talk about it?
It's really good, of course. Everyone definitely wants to be on TV, so I definitely try to make the most of being there for the time being. So I get to go back, so that's cool too. But I don't know. I try not to let it get to my head too much, like the fame. But it's because I think if I do it, it start affecting me, like playing the game wise. So I try to just keep it at a level where it's good and it's like not affecting me too much.
You got Martin over there over your shoulder again. What did your parents think when you told them, hey, I'm going to be on TV and I'm going to be playing for potentially 150K?
They were like really excited. So that's really cool to just see them like support me so much. So I like it a lot that they don't force me to like win or anything. They just like do your best. Now,
I normally wouldn't ask this to just any guest, but because you're 18, school, is that something you're interested in doing? Do your parents ever give you that, hey, it's good that you're playing games, but you got to have a career or anything like that?
They don't force me to do anything, so I want to just see how this goes out, and if it doesn't go out too well, I'll just go to college and get a career.
I mean, you have to get start.
I think we hear a lot about you outside the game, and we hear a lot about how well you do in the game. One thing I'm interested in when I watch you is how technical of a player you are. I never hear those questions asked of you, so I'm wondering, where is it that you get all of your knowledge? Because of all the Karen players, you're the one doing the most optimal combos, you're the one doing the most optimal punishes, you're the one who, when a player whiffs a move, is always, making the most out of it. Are you a training mode monster? Is someone telling you these punishes? Are you finding them out on your own? What is it that makes you so optimal?
Well, I watched a lot of Mago videos early on in season 1, and Sean actually he tells me a lot of stuff because he's a training mode monster, so he tells me a lot of stuff, and I usually just like take what he says and be like, oh yeah, thanks man, I really appreciate that. So they helped me. Those two helped me a lot, and watching Justin helps me with like spacing and stuff. So like finding the ranges where it's good to stand against players is like what I use Justin for in matches. And the tech is like Mago and Shine. So nothing is mine. I create nothing. Everything is definitely stolen.
So then why, if it's stolen, are you just putting it together better then? Why are you the best place in Karen?
I'm not sure. I actually have no clue. I couldn't answer that.
Punk, I like getting your opinion on stuff because I feel like some of you young guys are a little more, brash with your opinions. So we had on the show today earlier, best under 21 or 21 and under. You're in that category, obviously, but I want your opinion on some of the other people that share that title with you. And I'm going to go ahead and start with the easy no-brainer one, which is Smug. Tell me what you really think of Smug.
Smug is an under 21. He's definitely 22.
Oh, dang. Well, then let's go ahead and remove him from the list and go with Dew, who I know is at least 21 and under.
Dude is a really good player, you know. I like playing him. He's a good friend of mine too, so he's a good person, good player. But I don't like seeing Dude win events. It gets under my skin. I do like seeing him win though. I actually do like seeing him win, but only if he doesn't run into me, you know. I like beating Dude, so I want him to win to play me. But lately I lost that final round. I definitely wanted to play him and beat him there. That was like top of my list. So any event I go to, I look forward to playing Dude just so I could beat him. I could teabag him some, you know.
So who has anyone given you trouble consistently? Because you seem to feel like you're going to beat Dude every time you play him. You're going to beat Flash every time you play him. Who are you? Is there anyone you're actually scared to face or that has your number so far?
F Champ is like probably the top of the list of the hardest people to beat. I mean, we're tied in tournament 2-2, but it's like no one can break it to get like the 2-game lead. So I think we both kind of have each other numbers. So I think that's a person. I think Justin's also another person that's like really hard to beat. So I think those two guys are like the top for me at like playing against, and it's really hard to just consistently beat those guys.
Would you play nervously have you fought Bonchan in tournament actually?
No.
Would that be, do you think that would affect your play? Like loving him so much?
I don't think so. I just like, it's like a respecting. It's just like I respect him a lot, but if we play, I definitely want to play him at my best so he doesn't feel like I'm like giving him a short end of myself.
Punk, you're with Panda Global. You mentioned F-Champ a second ago. He used to be on Panda Global, now he's on Splice. When it comes to E-League, you're in there and he's not. So I feel like Panda Global...
No, he's there.
He's there.
He didn't get eliminated yet, my bad. But yeah,
No.
you made it. You did a little bit better, performed a little better than he. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Talk to me about Panda Global. That was a bad segue to get to Panda Global. How's it been being on that team? And, in the few interactions I've had with them, they always seem like really cool guys.
Yeah, they're really cool guys. Everyone on the team, like the Smash, Hearthstone players, they all are really nice and cool people. They treat me really well. They don't force me to do anything, or they don't make me do anything. So I think that's really good. And I just, like, overall, they're just all nice people. It's just a pleasure to be with them.
That's great. So you're digging the whole esports, TV, CPT life. You're just living large, hanging with Justin Wong and Marn.
You know what? Speaking of which, we have Marn in the background. Where do you lie on the Dhalsim is cheap spectrum? Because you're talking about F-Champ giving you problems.
Me and Marn are definitely, we're both there. Dhalsim is definitely top 5.
Well, he's getting a new low, so is he going to be even better?
He's definitely going to be top 2 next season for sure.
I got one more question for you before we try to get a set in.
Okay.
Which might be a little tricky because I'm not sure what gamer tag we're supposed to hit you up at. But here's the question. Stirring the pot again. E-League or CPT?
Which is more important?
No, I'm just laying it like that. You tell me.
CPT is definitely more important than E-League. I mean, right now, for me, I think E-League is the most important since I'm in the finals. I think it's really important. But qualifying for Capcom Cup is still like number 1 on my list, and I win in E-League. E-League is just helping me. It's something to help me get over nerves for being in such a big stage. So that's what I'm really using this for, is like to get over the nerves.
Speaking of that E-League room, during like the qualifying rounds early on, they were on Twitch. It looked like the studio was empty, and then on Friday they had the studio full. Which one was? Did that affect your nerves in any way? Either one or the other?
No, not really. Actually, I liked it. The studio being really full, and it's like it was really funny. Like during matches, like the people in the back were like really funny. So I actually liked it a ton.
That's great. Punk, are you ready to face off the best Vega in Austin?
I'm ready, but isn't the servers down?
Oh, the server's
you get,
down,
man,
we're
are we
getting
still
bodied.
getting bodied by this? This is the same thing that used to happen
think the
to us.
servers are down.
Dang. Well, how would it have gone, Punk?
I'm not sure. I think he would have picked Colleen, and he would have probably beat me because he definitely was beating me at South by Southwest and casual. So I don't know.
I think Punk is the biggest sandbagger in the entire Street Fighter universe. I've seen this guy play casuals, and it's a completely different monster than everything that's ever gone on a match. And I think that's part of his strategy. How do you feel about that?
I wasn't sandbagging against you because I wanted to learn the matchup, but when I play casuals with other people that I know I might face in tournament, I definitely sandbag.
What was I going to say? So I had one more. Given that we probably can't play because the servers are down, my last question was, when I saw you at South by Southwest, we heard about Phenom eating moose. We heard about how he eats burgers with a fork and knife. What is the weirdest player story from E-League so far? Someone's got to have done something strange. What would only someone behind the scenes know about E-League?
Yeah, I don't actually know. I don't think anyone's done anything weird at E-League, but that Phenom thing at final round with the fork and the knife was definitely the weirdest thing I've seen in FGC so far.
Hey, Punk, people are saying that Donka got saved by the bell, or in this case, by the servers. So what's the deal? You think that he got saved by the bell? Should we give it a shot? People are saying that the servers are back up.
Are they? We could try.
Let's give it a shot. We'll do
we'll just do a quick set. Doesn't matter. 2 out of 3.
Here, watch out with this.
3 out of 5. Let me.
You're gonna have to take your earpiece out here real quick.
I'll take.
Okay, bear with us for a second while we. You gotta take this with you.
Okay.
Here, 1 second, guys. Punk, why don't you tell us a nice quick story while we figure this out real quick.
Oh, what'd you say?
Who are you gonna rock against Donka tonight?
I'm gonna play Karen.
Give me the Karen.
Yeah, I'm gonna play Karen. I know the stream wants to watch the Karen. I know Donkey wants Karen, so I'll play Karen.
Here, give us 1 second. We'll just keep talking to us a little bit. We got our wires crossed here for a second. Not to mention we got to turn on the PS4. We're out of practice, guys. That's what's going on with us. We haven't done this in a while. So we have people in the chat saying it's a best of 5. So we should be playing a best of 5. But I'm not sure if we have enough time to do that. Do you have time to do that, Punk?
Yeah, I have time to do a best.
Hey, now we're talking. I know you guys like to go eat. I've seen those pictures you guys are tweeting at, what was it, Roscoe's? All kinds of fried chicken and what was the other stuff? Waffles. Damn, you guys make the guy jealous looking at your damn Instagram feeds.
Yeah, Justin and Marn, they know their food, so I'm happy to be with these guys because I want the best food in NorCal.
I swear that's what that's like the only thing you guys do in the FTC is just go around and eat at delicious places. And I know because K-Brad, when he was in Austin, the dude went and got barbecue. He got all kinds of crap. Making people jealous out here, I'm telling you. Anyways,
I think food is a big part.
Absolutely. That's why you do it, isn't it?
Yeah, the food is good. But yeah, the servers are definitely back up.
No more excuses, is that what you're saying?
I guess, man, I can't avoid Donkey now.
Here, let me make sure this thing is on here. We're turning on our system down here. Again, no more excuses. We got the fight stick ready to go. We got Marn in the back. Is Justin Wong there, or is he at work?
No,
unlike you guys.
Yeah, he's at work.
All right, we're gonna pop into the game here. I want to say I'm almost certain that Donka is gonna be rocking Colleen. Is that right?
Yeah, I'll be playing Colleen.
All right, how you doing with your earpiece? Can you hear all right?
Badly, but I'll figure it out.
All right, we're figuring this out. Do you have your mic on, buddy?
It's around my head.
All right, cool. Can everybody hear Donka? Give me a 1 in the chat if you can hear Donka. FU ISIS in the chat says Justin is responsible. I think by implication there, you are not responsible. Is that fair to say, Punk?
I think so.
Dude, how much fun have you been having in these post-match interviews? Just cutting people at the knees with some of those comments. Is that the most fun you have on these things?
Yes. Like, playing is cool, but the interviews are definitely a lot more fun than playing.
Uh-huh.
I like the fans being like they're entertained when they watch. I like that. So I think the interviews are the most fun for me.
I have two names for you. Two questions for you. Where did Alpha come from, and where did Punk come from?
Well, Alpha was just, I don't know, I just said it, like, it just came to my head. I wasn't expecting anything like this. Like, everyone's like, oh, the Alpha and stuff. I never expected that, so it's kind of cool that I have the nickname now.
Uh-huh.
Like, I got the nickname early in my career, so I like that a lot. But see, the Punk came from the wrestler, CM Punk.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's like a role model to me, I would say. I like him a lot. He was my favorite wrestler when he did wrestle. But now he's in the UFC, so I support him there too.
Hey, we have Street Fighter V booted up here. I'm not sure what CFN to look for. I know you guys are going to have to bear with us in the chat here. Is it Justin's?
Jay Wong? Yeah, Jay Wong, 3 Gs.
Jay Wong with 3 Gs.
Yeah.
Y'all know it. You're going to get a
All
request. You're probably going to get a request from, I can't remember what my
Lone Star
gamer tag
Gamer.
is. Oh, that lame old name, Lone Star Gamer.
All right, 1st
We're almost there.
3, character select on, number of players 2.
Let's take some questions from the chat here, guys. If you have any questions for Punk while we get this up and running, thank God the servers are up. If you have any questions for Punk, go ahead and throw them my way. And let's see, is he in there? Here we go. We'll get you in there pretty quick. Who are the... Okay. Act with a bunch of eyes next to it says, ask Punk who he thinks are the top 5 players right now. Top 5 players in the FGC for Street Fighter V right now.
I sent the invite, by the way.
Knuckle is definitely top 5. I think Do, Xian, I think Itazan is top 3.
Okay.
I want to say myself, but I don't know.
Yeah, put yourself in there. Why not?
Alright, and last, I think F Champ.
So we got F Champ, yourself. You said Itazan, Do, and who did I miss?
Xian.
Cian, yes. That's a good top 5. You think you could take all of them, though, on a good day?
I'm not sure. I know I could beat Champ and Do, but I'm not sure if I could beat Itazan or Xian, because Itazan did eliminate me at final round, so I don't know. Maybe if I counterpick him with Nash, I should have done that there.
All right, so we have the match starting here pretty soon. Quick question before you get into it. What's your favorite movie? Somebody wants to know.
Favorite movie? That's hard. It's a lot. That is actually a pretty hard question. Just on the spot?
Yeah.
I think about like what's my favorite movie. It's like I have a lot of favorite movies. I think The Longest Yard is like one of my favorites.
That's a good one.
The Longest Yard is my favorite.
All right, so we're actually starting now.
Yep.
Get to play versus, Jay Wong mains Karen, so he's got all the costumes, of course.
Yeah, this is Justin playing.
Is this your favorite costume?
Oh yeah, I love this costume. It's sick.
Okay, here we go, guys. I'll do you the honor of not commentating because y'all don't want to hear that.
Oh, it feels a little laggy, but we'll make do.
Yeah, online.
This is where you were born, Punk. Online. Show us those online tactics.
Ooh, this is pretty laggy.
Damn, I can't see that.
Oh my god. Y'all, this might be unplayable.
Oh no! The
This
rollback. No. Keep it going. Keep it going. This is an online set.
Yeah, I don't know if you can keep this going, Efren.
Yeah, I don't know if you can keep this going.
Is that cool new?
I can Colleen has the worst teabag in the game. She barely moves anywhere. Meanwhile, Karen is bouncing like a bunny rabbit. And unfortunately, we have been bodied by the Wi-Fi within .esports. We will get that fixed.
Will we?
Kind of an awkward transition here.
Keep fighting them. Here we go. I think it's cleared up. You got to finish the round. I don't care if it's laggy or not. Just finish the round.
All right, I'm gonna take out Punk in one laggy round. I'm guaranteeing it.
This is first to one round.
I think I got this.
You don't got it.
You don't think so?
No.
I knew it, man. I should have jumped.
Do the match. Do the match.
You knew
do the
it
match.
and you did a meaty?
I feel like I knew it.
No one's gonna beat me in low stakes online laggy Street Fighter 5.
Is this where you? Is this how you get all your points? Oh man.
This is looking good. Nope. There it is. There's the lag.
It doesn't lag when he does combos. I think Donkey's setting this up.
You got the lag switch?
Is that what it is, Donkey?
Oh boy. I'm getting nervous just watching. Mon says that Justin has Ethernet over there. It's definitely on our end.
Yeah, it's on our end, but I am the alpha now. No.
You win.
That looked kind of free. Punk, what do you got to say, man?
I don't know, man. All I gotta say is I've been bodying Martin all day.
Are you fucking serious?
You know.
Wait, go to end battle. Go to end battle. I got this. Yo, make a lounge and invite him instead.
Invite him.
I don't know. This works in Vietnam.
This works
got
in
the
Vietnam.
Vietnam
Okay,
tech.
we're trying the Vietnam tech.
Yeah, we got the Vietnam tech. Let's
All
run
right,
it back.
I will get invited by Punk.
It's go time.
A Lone Star Gamer.
Yes, sir. Just no, you don't have to put the EL on there. It's just Lone Star Gamer. Lame name, I know, but we're in Texas and we play games. Vietnam Tech coming in hot.
Vietnam Tech.
I used, okay, so there's like this, when you're playing online, I don't really play online much. You've got to adapt to the situation. Karen's anti-airs are already not that good, and Colleen's jump-in is one of the best jump-ins in the game. So it's going to be literally impossible for him to beat me if the game is lagging.
R2. R2 is dying. I'm not even inviting people.
You don't even need the R2? That would be LONESTAR. I think it came in. There you go.
There we go. We got from the Wazler.
Wazzlers. Adapter left behind, says Cauldron 00.
It's go
Okay, let's see if the Vietnam text is any good.
It says 5 bars. I will admit, I'll be the first to admit that I believe we are technically playing on Wi-Fi over here. So any fault is of our own. As we've stated many times so far, this is episode 1 of the rebooted Best of 3. So all these small little tidbits should hopefully be fixed in the future.
Yeah, we're working on it, guys.
All right.
How's it feeling? We got new. Oh, you're not gonna try the new costume?
I can't see. When I play as the battle outfit with Colleen, I think I'm playing as Cammy because it looks so similar to Cammy's other costume. So sometimes I try to do dive kick.
And now we got that sweet picture-in-picture. Shout outs to my man CJ for making that happen on the fly. Yo, that Karen costume though. That Karen costume is something else.
It's nice. I love it.
Well, what's interesting is her face looks different. Like it looks better than the regular costume. I don't know why they
Really?
don't like change the
Yeah.
face for both.
fight.
All right, we're still lagging.
Vietnam tech doesn't work more.
Damn, you're just gonna take that free damage?
Yeah, I'm taking it, man. It's online, right?
Okay, so yeah, this is unfortunately something that we're gonna need to fix in the future.
Yeah.
Currently, the score is 1-0, me over Punk. So he owes me at least half of the E-League money.
Yeah, I think that's how that works out. Yeah, at least
How
half.
that works? I think I owe you the money, Donkey. 75K coming your way if I win.
75K coming my way.
Yeah.
I won't ask for that, but I will say You've got to buy me an order of pancake puppies at Denny's. $2.
Denny's? I like you.
Don't let me
You're
get a pee on you,
job.
man.
$2.
He getting perfected.
I'm disappointed in you, Donka. On Don K.
So I guess that'll wrap it up. Thank you, Punk, for coming on the show. Thank you, everyone, for watching.
Thanks for having me.
Punk, we appreciate you, man. Are you going to be? What's the next tournament you're at? And will you be
NCR.
in Austin for DreamHack?
NCR this week. That's why I'm here with Justin. You know, just chilling, practicing, and DreamHack. I'll definitely be there.
Right on. Cool, man. Well, we wish you luck in those. What is it? The future endeavors.
Thank you.
Punk, thank you so much for coming on, and shout outs to Panda Global for helping set that up. We'll be watching the streams, man.
Thanks.
All right, thanks. Doc, I don't know if you want to come back up here or not, or we should just wrap it up.
I'll talk off your mic.
All right. Well, we did have some people asking for Colleen Tech. If you wanted to show anything, I don't know if you have anything prepared. You could just stand there.
You know what? I'll give you some Colleen Tech.
Let me get that mic closer to you, buddy.
I'll come up here and I'll give you some Colleen Tech. You know what?
All right.
Playing sideways.
We're gonna.
Desk.
Oh,
We're gonna get to training mode over here.
that's a clip there. Of yep, we got all kinds of funny stuff going on there. Why don't you go ahead and sit down again? And just show something. Yeah, the shot's set up.
I will put back on this microphone.
Z's cracking wise here at our awesome camera angles. Okay, so what if anything can you show us, man?
Okay, well I'll show you a knockdown. There's lots of Colleen Tech, obviously. I'll show you a couple of the goofier things that we have found. Various people. Obviously, we have Automatic Jibbo is playing Colin in one of the Street Fighter V and Street Fighter 4 and Street Fighter Cross Tekken's premier lab monsters. I'm playing her as well. Cyanide is playing her as well. So we've got a lot of people who like to find new stuff playing this character. And as a result, we found a lot of stuff.
Like what, Donka?
So first off, I'll show you a setup that is a coverall versus both wake-ups. And it's kind of in an awkward way. Normally, when you do a coverall, you want a move that is active for 4 frames. So it's active long enough that no matter which way they get up, the move will still hit them in time to beat their wake-up jab. Colleen does not have a move that's active that long. So in the standard way we do this, it'd be impossible. But because of the angle her ice ball comes down at, you're able to do it. Now, there's a couple setups that people have done, but the one that me and Cyanide found that we think is typically the best one is as such. And let me just get all the settings going. Here. We'll set her to wake up jab. Sorry, I didn't know I was going to be doing this, so. And we'll set him. We'll record a couple other things. We'll record. Or whoops. EXDP.
So what are you setting Rashid to do?
I'm trying to send him to EXDP. Oh, I think his DP is a quarter circle forward, actually.
You wouldn't know by watching you, Donka.
You know, we'll just send him to super.
All right.
I don't think that actually worked. I think I need to get the reversal. All right. So the first thing I will finally show you is this setup. So after doing Colleen's combo from EX hands into the sweet ball, you can do stand short, down short, and you'll actually catch the down wake up at first, and I'll show you that, and then you'll be able to dash and combo if it hits. I'm really bad. I'm really, really bad.
We're gonna get it. Is that supposed to be hitting him on the backside?
That will, nah, the down short will hit him. I'm just messing it because I'm like not used to this. That shouldn't even trade. It should just hit him. But the angle I'm playing at is a little weird, so unfortunately, I'm probably gonna miss everything.
There it is. Is that it?
So that catches him doing a 3-frame wake-up jab, and you're still able to dash and punish. And this is actually quite easy to do. I'm just messing it up due to the situation. And then, even if they're a back tech, you'll still get them. And you'll be able to do the same combo.
Cool. Well, nice, dude. That's your one bit of Colleen tech?
That's one bit of Colleen tech. And here, the more interesting thing maybe is how to set him up to beat either, and this will beat both his EXDP and his Wake Up Super. And so we'll knock him down. This is a hard knockdown, by the way, the Colleen counter. So Rashid cannot wake up in any single timing but this one. He can't late tech, he can't no tech, he can't back roll. He's always going to wake up at the same timing.
Okay.
If you do this ball into the V skill, you're going to be plus, and even if he does a wake, you're going to be plus enough to combo. But if he does a wake up super instead, or a wake up DP, you'll be able to still punish. And he's actually completely canceled out by that. So you get to punish with the stand fierce.
Wow.
And that works just as well versus EXDP. That works versus every EXDP in the game. Sometimes you'll be able to punish them on the ground like that. Mm-hmm. Sometimes instead you'll just get the V skill to hit. Sometimes you can link super after the ball hits. It depends on the character. I made a list. I'll probably post that to Twitter at some point. But overall, that's a really good setup because it has to happen that way. And even if they just block instead of waking up with a DP, the ball hits after V skill, which is normally punishable, and then you're plus on block. So you can do a throw, you can do a meaty, you can do anything. So guaranteed after they counter, they have to hold this.
Right on, man. Thank you, dude. I didn't think you were gonna have it on you. I sprung it on you, and you delivered.
You sprung it on me, and I delivered very poorly, but that was a couple things.
Well, we'll have some more stuff for you next week. That was Best of 5, the FGC show, presented by us because it's independent now. And by us, I mean myself, Donka, Steve, and John. We produced the show together. We're doing it because we enjoy doing it. We're doing it because we miss doing it. We'd appreciate your support. If you guys want to give us a follow on Twitter and on this page, on this channel, we'd appreciate it. And hopefully you like what we're doing. If not, tell us. We're open to feedback. And we'll be here again next week. That was Best of 5. See you later, guys.